Good morning. I'm not sure how the sound's going to work today. Um, Thank you for joining me for this edition of Status Hearing. We'll start today on the belly. I'm going to be working with some prone positions as opposed to the supine positions when the face is up in the air. So we'll start on the belly with diaphragmatic breathing. And remember that when we're on the belly with diaphragmatic breathing, we're still pulling the front to the back. So we're pulling the belly away from the floor to the spine. If you lie down on the floor, you can just rest your hands on your, rest your head on your hands. Tuck your forehead slightly and begin by taking some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you do this, just notice that when you inhale, the belly pushes toward the floor. As you exhale, you can begin to pull the navel up toward the spine. And one way of just feeling this a little more distinctly is to lift your pelvis slightly away from the floor. So as you inhale, again, just soften and relax. As you exhale, pull the navel away from the floor toward the spine. And you can add the rib cage, pulling the rib cage away from the floor and toward the spine. And I'm going to tuck my shirt in a little more so that you can. So pulling the rib cage and the navel away from the floor, maybe even pulling the chest away from the floor. So exhaling, lifting everything away from the floor, inhaling, relax. Exhale, lift away from the floor. Inhale, relax. And exhale. We'll do two more of those. There's two. And one. Now, begin to work with the legs. So when you exhale, we're going to be squeezing the knees and ankles together to lift. And the legs are going to, when we squeeze the knees and ankles together, the legs are going to help us lift more of the inner thigh and upper leg here. So again, we'll inhale as we exhale, squeeze knees and ankles together, really pull the navel back, and now tuck the tailbone or tuck the outsides of the thighs to the backs of the knees. Inhale, release, exhale, tuck the backs of the thighs toward the backs of the knees and feel that lift through the backs of the thighs. So inhale, relax, exhale, lift. Inhale, relax, exhale, lift. And incorporating also that pulling down of the shoulders. We've talked about rear lateral lines. We're going to pull the rear lateral lines down from the shoulders to the buttocks and from the buttocks to the outside edges, outside corners of the heels. Inhale, exhale, pull down. Use the entire rear lateral line from the shoulder down to the foot. Exhale, pull down. And by the same token, you can use those front medial lines, also pulling down. The midlines on either side of the center line of the body. So feel that in the inner thighs, insides of the knees, inside of the ankles, and the tops of the big toe and the second toe. Here's 4 more, and 3, and 2. Inhale, last 1, and relax. We're going to come up onto the forearms here, and we're just going to continue with that breath, but now we're going to add more of the upper body. Now, key here, and what I want to practice before we do the entire body, is just this idea of exhaling, pushing down into the arms. So inhaling into the belly, exhaling, pushing down into the arms. And when I'm pushing down into the arms, I'm using elbows and forearms, squeezing them together and pushing the back of my head, and the back of my head, that's my rear medial line, is extending up. So my rear medial line is going to extend up. My rear lateral lines are going to extend down. My front medial line is going to extend down. My front lateral lines are extending up. So all of this, and it's a lot to think about. So check in with what makes sense to you. As you exhale, I guess what makes sense to me right now is this idea of extending out through the crown of my head, through my rear medial line, and extending down through my rear lateral lines, because that's helping me slide my shoulders down, and that's helping me extend my legs backward. By the same token, I'm not hunching my head forward because I'm extending through the rear medial line. So inhaling, exhaling. As I inhale, I extend out through my rear medial line. As I exhale, I extend down through my rear lateral line. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, lengthen down. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, lengthen down. In and out. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to add a little bit more effort here with the legs. Inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to add my front lines. So as I inhale, lengthening up through my rear medial, lengthening up through my front lateral. Exhale, extending down. Inhale, extending up, even pulling with my elbows. Exhale, extending down. Inhale, extending up. Exhale, extending down. And now I'm going to put a little more pressure into those elbows. I'm going to pull a little more with those elbows. And I don't need to move very much. Just pulling with the elbows and then resisting with the rear lateral lines. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull and resist. Inhale and exhale. Last time, inhale and exhale. And from here, I'm going to extend the arms a little bit further here and just tuck my forehead again. And my goal here is not to drop my chin and over contract through the back of my neck. It's to tuck my forehead and stretch through the back of my neck. And I'm going to do the same thing here, but now my arms are extended, working those lines, so rear lateral lines. So from the outsides, 2.5 fingers extending all the way down to the outside edges of the heels. Exhale, extending down. Inhale, relax. Exhale, extending down. Now we're going to add front lateral lines extending forward along the front of the sides of the body. So as I exhale, I extend from the fingers down to the feet along the back. As I inhale, I extend from the outside toes up through the front lateral lines. Exhale down the back lateral lines. Inhale up the front lateral lines. And notice you can pull down through those rear lateral lines, pin them down at your feet, and now pull up through the front with your fingers. Pin the ends of the front lateral line, so the bottoms of my outside 2.5 fingers, I'm going to pin them down to the floor. And then I extend, sorry folks, and then I extend, sorry. Then I extend back up. So exhaling down the back, I'm going to pin the backs of my feet down, and now I'm going to extend up the front and pin the fronts of my hands and extend down the back. So at the end of the line, I'm kind of securing that portion of the line so that I can extend in the opposite direction on the next breath cycle. Inhale, lengthening, pinning the feet and lengthening up to the hands. Exhale, pinning at the hands and lengthening down to the feet. Inhale, feet lengthening up to the hands. Exhale, anchor at the hands, lengthen down to the feet. And how much of your body can you engage here? Just see if you can engage slowly and carefully all the way up, slowly and carefully all the way down. We'll do 2 more of those. There's 2. Exhale down. Last one. Exhale down. Now, we're going to squeeze the knees and ankles together. Extend the arms. Shrug the shoulders away from the ears. And as we extend down now, we're pressing the knees and ankles together, extending down and out through the tops of the bottoms of the feet. As you inhale, lengthen up like Superman. Exhale, lengthen down and lift through the bottoms of the feet. And what can you do now to recruit strength? What can you do to recruit parts of your body to help? Use your glutes, make them hard as a rock. Use the front medial lines so that your big toes can be involved in this to help you extend those legs. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, extend down. We'll do 2 more of those. In and extend. Last one. Extend down and relax. From here, we'll come back up onto the forearms, and we're just going to curl one leg up on the exhalation. On the inhalation, we'll switch. Exhale, curl. Inhale and exhale. Now notice as you curl, you really need to draw down with your front medial lines. You've got to really firmly extend down to those big toes. Otherwise, you're going to pop your rear end up. So exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale, curl. Inhale. And exhale. Now we're going to do both legs together. That one's going to be a little trickier. Squeeze the knees and ankles together. Use your front medial line and squeeze. Inhale, release. Exhale. Inhale, release. Now, if you're feeling this in your lower back, you can walk your elbows back a little bit further so that you're able to lift through your waist a little bit more. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Now, where are your shoulders? Can you slide your shoulders down your back? And another thing that's going to help that is to press your elbows into the floor and pull your body forward. There we go. Here's 4. And inhale. And 3. Push with your elbows. Pull your body forward, but resist with the weight of your legs. Last 2. And resist. Last 1. And release. All righty. Let's come up onto all fours. We're going to bring the thighs about hip width apart, and we're just going to sit back onto the heels for a very deserving lower back stretch. So go ahead and just allow your body to fall forward to whatever degree is comfortable for you. If it's comfortable for you to rest the head on the floor, do that. If it's not, don't worry about it. The goal here is stretching through the lower back. So whatever you need to do to stretch through the lower back, to feel comfortable stretching through the lower back, is what you want to do. Now, notice too that as you breathe, your belly is going to fill. It's going to make a little less space in between the belly and the thighs. As you exhale, you can pull the navel back to your spine. And you may find that you can tuck a little more firmly into the thighs. Inhale, fill, exhale. And now gaze forward at your fingertips, because our goal now is to stretch through the shoulders. So we've stretched through the lower back. As a matter of fact, bring your hands back by your feet and just let your body sink here. And just gently rock side to side so that you're able to feel a gentle stretch in your hips. So as I rock over to the right, I stretch through my right hip a little bit more. As I rock to the left, stretching through my left hip a little bit more. And now turn your attention to your shins and roll your shins away from each other by pressing your big toes together. I don't know if I can demonstrate that. So I'm kind of pressing my big toes together, and that's helping me stretch through the outsides of my shins. And then I press my heels together, big toes, heels. And then I'm going to bring my arms back up and stretch through the shoulders. So now I'm going to press my hands into the floor. As I exhale, pull my navel toward my spine. Inhale, lengthen up through my front medial lines. Exhale, lengthen down through my rear medial lines. Inhale, lengthen up. Really extend through the underarms and the palms. Exhale, lengthen down, pushing those hands down to the floor. That's where you're going to start to feel that shoulder stretch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press those hands into the floor. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale. And now you can combine the shoulder stretch with the hip stretch by gently pushing into the floor with the hands. Push into the floor with the hands and push the hips back toward the heels. So I inhale, exhale, push into the floor with my hands and push the hips back to the heels. Inhale, exhale. Really lengthen down actively with the hips and the legs. One last time in. As I exhale, I'm going to release. I'm going to come up into one more variation on that, bringing my hands forward. My hips are gently coming up away from my heels. Hips are poking up in the air, which may look awkward. The beautiful thing about this stretch, though, is it gets so deeply into the shoulders. So my hips are up in the air, my arms are extended. I'm going to anchor the palms of my hands onto the floor. And as I exhale, pull down on those rear medial lines. So the hands are anchored, they're not going anywhere, but I am pulling with the sides of my hips and pulling with the outer corners of the bottoms of my heels so that I can feel that stretch through the latissimus dorsi. That's the big muscle in the back that helps you pull your shoulders away from your ears. Feeling a stretch through the hips. Now, play with this one. Can you press your shins into the floor? So you're going to pin your palms in one location, press your shins into the floor, and pull away with your hips. So inhale, secure to the floor. Exhale, pull away. Inhale, secure to the floor. Exhale, pull away. And on your next inhalation, we'll come back to a sitting position. Shrug the shoulders back a few times and forward. One last variation here. Bring the hands behind the head like you're going to do a sit-up. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, let's see here, how can I demonstrate this? As you exhale, round through the back, push the back of the head against the palms. And feel how when you push the back of the head against the palms, it kind of, you just sort of automatically slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, pull down with the shoulders. Inhale, push the head against the hands. Exhale, pull down with the shoulders. One last time in. And as we exhale, you can gently release. We'll take it down to the floor for final Shavasana. So just relax the body in final Shavasana. Going back to that diaphragmatic breathing. Feeling into the body. Again, feeling from the inside. And notice where you're feeling any sensations. We didn't really start, well, we didn't start at all on the back the way we normally do. So just feel into sensations and notice where they are. They could be in your shoulders. They could be in your belly. Maybe feeling yourself a little more innately comfortable with the diaphragmatic breath. It may come a little bit more naturally Relax the jaw. Relax the sides of the neck. And again, see if you can go inside the sides of the neck. So it's not the surface of the neck, it's the muscles under the skin. Can you flatten your shoulder blades against the back? You may find yourself wanting to tuck your shoulders under your back for that reason. Feel your body just allowing itself to rest. I frequently feel like there's a balance between activity and inactivity that I miss. There's one extreme or the other. But personally, I think that noticing it is important. Just noticing it, not changing it. Something inside has this tendency to overdo one end of activity or the other end, the lack thereof. And I think there's merit in just recognizing that. I don't know what it's about. I know it happens. And I know sometimes it's just disturbing. I want to slow it down and I don't know how. But that too is some kind of impetus. That too is some kind of stimulus towards something. And recognizing that it's there is an excellent first step at trying to understand better. We've reached the end of our time today. You can bring yourself back from Shavasana in whatever way feels appropriate. Give yourself a long stretch. Gentle movements with the head, with the body. And bring your knees into your chest and just give your knees a big hug. If you press your knees against your arms, you may find that helpful in opening up the rhomboids, those muscles between your shoulder blades. And then gently roll to one side. And bring yourself back to a sitting position. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this was useful for you. I will be back this evening for a PM status hearing at 9 p.m. Just a breathing and bodywork session, 15 to 20 minutes to help you settle in for sleep. So thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.